Hi guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. So Analogue dropped firmware version 2.0 yesterday, and with that the main thing that came out, or at least for me and many of us, the most important thing was the screen filters. We got a bunch of them. Now the one that we were kind of messing about with yesterday in yesterday's video was the CRT Trinitron shader filter, whatever you want to call it, and we were having some good effects. But what we didn't have is what you're seeing on screen now. We didn't have them for like the Game Boys. We didn't have like the different filters. So after doing the video yesterday, a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people started experimenting, kind of putting stuff in there themselves, and yeah, and now here you can see I'm messing around. I mean, we can run the CRT Trinitron filter on the Game Boy if we want. We can cycle through them. I haven't seen like the DMG green one there, so hopefully that's something that gets implemented in the future. But guys, as it stands now, honestly, you can pretty much use any of the shader filter on any of the openFPGA cores. Now your results may vary. Some of the cores kind of break a little bit when you use them on there. We'll have a little look more into that during this video as well. I wanted to start off with the Game Boy DMG because I love the Game Boy DMG. One of the things that is definitely missing is that green screen. I absolutely love that green screen, guys. So yeah, let's have a look at some stuff because the internet was blowing up yesterday. I just want to credit a few people and have a look at a few things. So Analogue released his tweet informing us that the new firmware was available, and some of the highlighted points on here: APGB palette support, CRT Trinitron original display mode added, original display mode support for openFPGA, plus much more. And over here on Twitter, a big shout out to Tobias Lind, who kind of pointed out you can manually enable each custom screen mode for individual cores in the video JSON file. Here's a JSON for the GBA core to help you out. So stuff started getting on the internet. People started messing around with JSONs and they started getting excellent results, to the point where you pretty much, like I said, had any of the filters available on any of the cores. And honestly, some of the results are fantastic. Some of them are just bang out weird, but nonetheless, it's well worth trying. So here's a tweet from Khalid Ahmed where he says display modes can be enabled by adding attributes in a video JSON file according to the document. So Analogue have actually released a document which kind of teaches you how to do that if you do want to check it out. So this was late yesterday. I was speaking to my homie, unloved homie, who was messing about, and look at the results he's getting. I mean, these just look really, really good. He's using like completely different filters with the Neo Geo core, and he's getting good results, and we'll check some of those out as well. But a big shout to unloved homie, because he was kind of helping me out with a few things, and I was going to start comparing JSON files myself, but then something else happened. One thing I kind of came across this Reddit post where it's going through everything, and it's got like an archive ready to download that you can add to the root of your SD card and just pretty much get all like custom palettes for the Game Boy, but one step better. So I was gonna go with so unloved homie actually sent me some of his JSON files. I was gonna look at them, compare them, and start making some changes myself. But you know what, I'm a lazy guy, and when someone else does something, man, why not benefit from it? So Matt Pannella, who is part of Team Updater, done an absolutely awesome job. So he updated his updater to include, okay, here you go, new menu option to force all display modes on for every core. So what you saw at the beginning and what you're going to see the rest of the video is what I got from updating my Analogue Pocket micro SD card using Matt Pannella's Pocket Updater utility. Now, it's quite possible it's on Retro Driven's updater as well as Neil Morrison's. I haven't tried that. This is the one that I had. It worked, and it just worked brilliantly. What you do want to do is when you run the updater, make sure you pick option 7. Option 7 will add the display modes to every single core. And guys, it works really, really well. I mean, you gotta try it, right? Let's have a look at some more games. Right, let's now move over and load the Neo Geo core. Now I want to point something out here. Best kind of practice for when you want to move around and use different shaders, at least for now. So you know the analog button, if you hold that down and you move it left and right, you can cycle through different shaders. Now some shaders break some cores. Now, so far I've only found the Neo Geo core that kind of doesn't like it when you do it via that. So here you go. As I'm swapping it over, it doesn't like some of the shaders and it crashes the core. Now there is a way to kind of get around that, and we're going to have a look at that, which is simply just kind of picking it through the menu. We'll look at that next. So for the Neo Geo, don't swap them like this. Swap them, change the shaders, sorry, filters via the menu and not via the hotkeys. I've loaded Breaker's Revenge again, but this time we're not going to use we're not going to use the hotkey, you know, holding down the analog key and moving it left and right. We're going to go into the menu. We're going to look at shaders, and we're going to change. So we're going to change them manually. So you know, when you're messing about with this, if you do want to try different shaders that aren't really meant for this, so we can kind of use like Game Boy shaders for it. So it looks like the best Game Boy game available there. And I'm just going to kind of hold it up because I haven't got access to my dock at the moment. I'm actually out, and I often work away from my house, so hopefully it's not looking too shabby. And here you go. So you can use different shaders on there, and it's a bit difficult trying to do moves and go through everything on here, but options are there, guys. Like, experiment with this, and for the Neo Geo core at least, don't use the hotkey, guys. Go into the menu. If you have to do it multiple times, do it multiple times. Just take a mental note of what ones crash it. Like the red Game Boy filter definitely crashes it, as well as like the grayscale one as well. So a few of them do crash it out, and honestly, like, it's fun trying these games out on they just look good. I like the kind of effect that I'm getting on here, and like yesterday's video I done on the dock with my TV, but when I'm playing in handheld mode, I quite like, I don't know, let me know what you guys think of it, but I quite like using some of the Game Boy LCD filters, but only while in handheld mode. I don't think I'd like to use them when connected via the dock. I think I would rather use like the Trinitron one, or maybe one of the other ones if I like it, but the handheld one's really good, and I think in handheld mode they do look decent. Okay, so let's run the Super Nintendo core, and guys, you are gonna kind of insult me for what I'm gonna try here, but we're gonna go through it, and I just want to show you how ridiculous some of the things you can actually do now. So I'm running this core. We're gonna go through like the screen filters. See, like the SNES core, you can use any of the screen filters. So the ones that crash or make the Neo Geo core crash, they don't make the SNES core crash. Now, I haven't comprehensively gone through everything, but I am experimenting, and I think you guys should experiment too. So yeah, so I'm trying to kind of get the best brightness there, because I find on like a normal display the brightness should be quite low, but on some of the filters available, the brightness should be a little bit higher. But I'm kind of experimenting with it, and as you can see, using the hotkey to swap the filters, it just works really, really well. And guys, I absolutely I love this one. I know it looks terrible. I know maybe because I'm colorblind, I see something different to what everyone else sees. But this is, I'd say, at least a very, very interesting way of playing Super Mario Brothers. Okay, so while I was actually filming it and looking at the phone screen, it looked a lot worse. Hence why I kind of went and put the brightness up to the max, which when filming might actually make it look worse. But here we are. We're playing the Super Nintendo with, what is it, the Neon Pinboy Game Boy DMG filter, and yeah, guys, it just looks terrible. I've turned one of my childhood classics into potentially one of the worst games out there to play, and but it is interesting, right? Are you gonna try this out? Let me know. I really like this filter. There's some games when I was playing games on the Analogue Pocket via either cartridge, flash card, or via what's that one called, a GB Studio. I was using the red filter for some. I kind of thought it worked really well for Gargoyle's Quest, you know, being that whole, you know, spooky vibe. It also kind of worked good for Parodius on this. So there's a few games that kind of work good on. I don't really think it works great on this, but I do like the novelty of it, and I do like messing around with this stuff. You know, we've got the options here, so why not try it? I'm definitely saying it's completely wrong, but you know what? We have to experiment, right? Before we depart away from the SNES core, let's just pause it and let's cycle through some of the filters so we can kind of see it. I'll try and like bring it a little bit closer for you guys. Guys, believe it or not, I'm actually filming this on an old iPhone 6. Like my wife's old iPhone 6, she's moved over to Android now. It's a very, very old phone. It was lying around, and yeah, it's actually okay for filming. Maybe somewhere down the line I'll get like someone's old iPhone. That'll be my new filming thing. But on a still, as you can see, we're cycling through them, and we have just got loads of choices. Sorry, it's cutting out the bottom there. It's kind of difficult to hold that in front of a camera, film and do all this stuff. I'm not the best at it, so I am cycling through them. There's a whole bunch of them, and honestly guys, try them out. Like, see which ones you like, see which ones work best for you. Okay guys, so finishing up this video, let's finish off by messing around with the CPS2 core, Hortego's CPS2 core, and some Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Again, kind of going through the filters and the choices here, and it does look good. And this is one of the cores where using the hotkey and cycling through every single filter is actually okay. It's not breaking anything, it's running through this. So far, it's only the Neo Geo core that I'm having that issue with. That might actually be the only core, I don't know. There's a lot of cores out there, and I didn't test them, all of them, for the video. I kind of wanted to get this video out there. I was initially, like I said, going to mess around with Jason's and use ones that people provided, but Team Update are just awesome, man. I mean, like, what a great bunch of guys, and how fast they're kind of getting stuff out. And it's nice, honestly, like playing it, like some of the Game Boy filters I think are really good, even to use on games, even to kind of use on arcade games. Like, I think it makes them look better. I know it's not accurate, and running scan lines in handheld mode, for me, it's not something that I would like using, but I definitely think like the Game Boy filters that are available definitely makes some games look better. It definitely gives them that unique look. I intend to play some today. I'm probably going to do some gaming today. I have got another video that I'm working on. But yeah, that's really it, guys. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs up, subscription, all that good stuff is super appreciated. I'll see you guys around. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.